Welcome to my advanced class on the flying monsters of the Chaos Dwarf roster, the Great Taurus, the Lammasu, and the Bale Taurus. I'm doing this as a trio because the Great Taurus received significant nerfs, basically because there was too little reason for the Bale Taurus to exist, except fire breath and more missile resistance. Now each has a distinct place. Please like, subscribe, and consider donating to my Ko-fi page. I need all the support I can get. Thank you. Anyway, the Great Taurus is now a little cheaper and has half the mass it used to. It still hits quite hard with a beefy 80 charge bonus, but that reduced mass takes a fair bit away from its initial raw impact. But how much does it really take away? Some, sure, but everything else is still just as strong as it used to be. The Lammasu is also a bit cheaper, and this is both in campaign and multi. In contrast, the Lammasu has increased in mass to be just as burly as the Great Taurus. This makes it a more heavy hitter in melee, and it won't be stuck as easily as before, though the change is moderate in the big picture. Who knows, but escaping a bad melee is a survival skill, so it may matter. The Bale Taurus also received a slight cost reduction to make recruiting it less punishing, and it received a gentle nerf to its mass, going from 4,000 to 3,500. So all the flying monsters have been brought back in line a little bit. The Bale Taurus now has nearly twice the mass as the Great Taurus, amplifying that it is a better, more powerful fighter in every way. The Lammasu continues to be the odd man out, with higher leadership, a smaller splash damage effect, favoring base damage over armor piercing, but doing quite a bit of both, and being both a magical attacker and having a couple of bound shadow spells, and cancelling magical attacks in a radius around it. It also favors melee defense over melee attack. All of these monsters fly at a pretty decent clip, and all are capable of doing similar jobs. They're just different flavors. The Lammasu is especially meant to be a team player, not a solo carry. So how do we make them even better? Lord Red Tree benefits are extremely simple. Hellish Blows gives a +6 melee attack and +12 weapon strength at max level, which doesn't sound like much, and it kind of isn't. Like the Bull Centaurs, Wretched Warhost slaps 12% more weapon strength and a flat 12 increase in charge bonus at rank 7 and above, plus 10% physical resistance. That helps everyone, but Blazing Body makes the Taurus units build physical resistance and damage reflection, so they get flat out stronger. In the tech tree, opposite the War Machine Capstones, Mighty Monsters has 10% speed and 5% ward save against all damage to the flying monsters, and Beasts of Zar has another 10% weapon strength, and only for rank 7 and above, gives you an extra use of Lammasu bound spells, the ones that help you rack up burst damage against key targets. That's fine and dandy. They're pretty orthodox buffs, nice to have, but not truly exciting. The real fun, yet again, is with the Hellforge. The first 3 unlocks you are able to get with flying monsters are Vanguard Deployment, Stalk, and Frenzy. All 3 of these are ridiculously powerful, especially when combined. Frenzy is tough to maintain if a flying monster is isolating, but if a lord or hero is nearby and that morale stays up, Frenzy is a +10 melee attack buff and a flat 10% boost to melee damage and charge bonus. The Tauruses have 80 charge bonus base. Percentage boosts matter. Point being, having Vanguard Deployment and Stalk on flying units makes them able to tie forces down and attempt to assassinate artillery pieces. Lords are too tough. Don't expect anything out of them. These monsters prosper when fighting infantry or perhaps cavalry, but not tough single entities. On the other hand, if you lack options against them or need them bogged down, you might be forced to try anyway. Murderous Charge is something I covered with the Bull Taurus units, but remember, these flyers are faster to begin with, increasing their charge bonus and mass even more, and it'll look absolutely ridiculous. More to the point, diving artillery will happen that much faster. Black Shard armor to add 25 armor is nice, unless everything you fight is armor piercing like Dark Elves missile units, so it's matchup dependent. Strength through flesh is just as ridiculous here as it is on the regulars, if not more so. Lifesteal on a single entity, especially the Blazing Body ones, you're driving a stake into the heart of the main weakness of that style of fighting. 15% missile resistance needs to be considered in context. For the Great Taurus and Lammasu, this raises total missile resistance to 30%. For the Bale Taurus, it's raised to 40%. That means you laugh off 40% of arrows, thunder or bullets, And I think it works for Cygor boulders also. Take the dark shards I just alluded to. The missile resistance will keep them alive longer than added armor. Of course, they might be falling over soon anyway, but it can buy you precious time. Finally, and relevant to the other stuff, a Bound Bearer Demon adds 80 barrier points, which helps them get into the fight and to make hit-and-run attacks they can survive. Yes, it's powerful, but it's only so powerful. It's more that it's a safe option that works with everything. Once you unlock Total War and can get 5 upgrades applying to every monster, having this as your last one just makes them that much more resilient. The point being, just like the Bull Centaurs, no upgrade is wasted. No upgrade is straight up bad. Every upgrade helps all 3 flying monsters. It's not like with War Machines where all the shooty upgrades are wasted on the Skullcracker and vice versa. Even without these upgrades, the flying monsters dish out fear and terror every time they butt heads with their targets. All we're going over is how to get them into combat earlier, sneakier, less damaged, so that they can do their thing. The reason I'm talking about it like all combat is on the ground is because most of what they'll face is on the ground, but they give you options in the sky too, of course. Because most combat is on the ground, I recommend to making a top priority of unlocking Strength from Flesh, which is like the hunger with vampire factions. You should be either getting into combat, fighting, or fleeing desperately. If you're fighting, falling health is a ticking bomb. Making your units last longer makes them dish out more damage and terror. That's a good thing for you. Just to mention, these are not demonic units, so they can't be healed by a demon smith, but they also flee on their own when they face imminent death. Even the Great Taurus will often survive crazy things, purely because it knew when to flee. That makes back-to-back battles tough, but it also gives you chances to keep them alive, get them XP chevrons, and unlock the goodies at the end of the blood-soaked rainbow. In the meantime, use them as flying monsters were intended by Hashut to do. Lob your foes, bash your foes, make their lives miserable as your killy units like blunderbusses bring those lives to an end. Also, laugh. Chaos Dwarfs like to laugh when doing evil things like this. Laughter is good for your blackened soul. Take care and have fun, because trampling your foes had better be fun!